Welcome to Twist Talks, where we talk about the Japanese game Twisted Wonderland.
We discuss theories, headcanons, and other random nonsense about the game and its characters.
For the sake of spoilers within our podcast topics, we will only be discussing the international release over the Japanese release.
Hi, I'm Talissa, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Kaden, and my pronouns are I don't give a fuck.
Hi, I'm Wonder, and I use any pronouns. Twist Talks stands by Palestine and does not support the Disney Corporation's decision to support Israel. For the moment, all three hosts of Twist Talks are choosing not to support Twisted Wonderland in any way financially, and we urge any and all listeners to do the same.
Who's starting?
All of us at the same time.
Oh, gosh. That would go horribly.
I'm still eating my ice cream, so...
I'm eating too, so Talissa, that leaves you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Hello, welcome to this random episode. Is this our... No, this is not our welcome back. This is probably our second episode.
This will be the second
new
one
year.
After.
Second episode for 2024. We will be going over book 1, so the Heart's-a-Beale book, and just kind of the overall layout of the episode or the book, because that's how my notes are in, and just our thoughts and comments and all of that.
Kind of like we've done with the event episodes so far.
And the prologue, we did a prologue.
Yeah.
Although that one, I think all of us were going off of memory. I actually read the wikis for this.
I didn't. I'm going off.
Ew, you did research? I have the manga in front of me, and that's it. That is the extent of my research, as I skimmed through the manga again.
That's why I sent my bullet points, so there's at least general refresher.
I am going off of a cat video. No, sorry, a TikTok of cats explaining Twisted Wonderland books.
You need to send me this video.
I did. It's in the Instagram.
You sent one of them.
It is?
You sent the book 3 one.
Yeah, I sent 3, 2, and 1, and prologue.
Oh, I only saw the
been-
book 3 one.
That might have been when I was in the car and I was like, I'll watch these later, and then immediately forgot about them.
Yeah, I only saw the book 3 one.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Our first tangent. So, I take it since you guys are eating, and the one that read the wiki, I'm doing the general rundown.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So the book starts with us asleep in our safety hazard of a home, ramshackle door, and someone pounding at the door, as you do in the middle of the night. And it is Ace asking to sleep in our house. If I had this option in the game, I think Wonder and I would have slammed the door in his face and gone back to bed.
I would lovingly invite him in. I'd be like, yes, what would you like, my dear Ace?
I remember your texts when you got to the options. I could pull them up and read them. So essentially, he has a big collar around his neck and has said, because he broke a rule, Riddle went on a rampage and put this collar on him and kicked him out of the dorm, and he needs to sleep here tonight because he ate a piece of tart that was meant for the unbirthday party the next day.
Well, he didn't know it was meant for the birthday party.
He didn't know it was meant for it. He just went, these are 3 giant tarts. No one's going to know if I eat some. And Riddle was standing directly behind him.
Not at first, but then he came
Not
in.
at first.
And he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because it was something because, of course, for plot purposes, they talk to themselves as they raid the fridge and make comments about how they don't need all these big tarts for themselves, and this is such a good tart. And Riddle's just like, yeah, they're for the party tomorrow. No, I don't. I was going to say, he didn't say it was a party. I was going to say, I think Cater tells us that later.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. We agree to let Ace spend the night, and he automatically goes, so where's my bed? And that is when it's revealed we have to share a bed with Grimm. And he tries to tell us that he's a tiny little guy, and he can fit in our bed too.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, hop in, bud. I don't really care.
Yeah, Cadence. So the options you get are not happening or really not happening. And Kanan's sending me like crying emojis about how they're not able to invite Ace into their bed. And
He just wants cuddles.
Ew.
I am a cuddly person. I would punch Ace in the face.
Okay. But
That's how it worked. So yeah. So then
Listen, we let you talk about your opinions about Jamil. You can let us talk about our opinions about Ace.
I do.
Okay. So
I need to talk about what happened today in full story. This is my little
okay.
tangent. I was in the car with Nick. We were going to his doctor's appointment or whatever, and I'm playing the game, and I go to pull a 10 pull, and I see that it's a special card, so I'm like, ooh, and then I see his fucking face, and I literally throw my phone on the floor, and then I text you guys, and I'm like, no, I'm acting.
That gave us a fucking panic attack.
Yeah.
I was at a club meeting, and I was fully like, hang on, I can't do this right now. One of my friends is like having a mental breakdown, and then they sent the screenshot of, Jamil's card, and I'm just like, never mind, go on.
I like how that was your reaction because I'm just seeing like all the no's in all caps and various statements, and I'm like, okay, just give it a minute. What's this about? Then I can decide the reaction. And then I saw that, and I'm
sorry,
just like,
I saw the what was it? The one where you basically said you're gonna KMS, and I was like, hang on, I need to hear this out. And then it was Jamil, and I'm like, never mind.
I'm getting a lot of dramatic texts like that over the years that end up being like this. I stubbed my toe. Like,
see, I have trauma.
I mean, same.
Have I told you guys? I know I've talked to you about it, Talissa, about my old DM.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
Sorry for the podcast, but you can tell me later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might not want to go into deets now, but
yeah. It's
I got SR Jamil card instead of the SSR Malice card, and I'm so pissed.
I tried
I was
pulling
pulling
for
for Malice,
Malice's.
and I got Lilia.
I was pulling for him, and I got Floyd, and I was glad because it's a new card, and my like past 20 tenfolds have had anything new, so I was glad it was new. But I'm like, I was also glad because I really thought it was Pompior at first with the colors, and I was like, I swear to God, if I get Rook. And then I saw it was Floyd, and I'm like, oh, that's fine.
I got Jade the other day, and I was...
Yeah, I have not had good looks. I think I ticked off Azul because I took him off my home screen. I didn't want him there anymore. I like Malice on my home screen. And I haven't lit in the candle in a while. I made a candle to Azul, and he gave me like 4 cards
Speaking
I wanted in return.
I'm going to put Lilia's SSR on my home screen, because why not?
Nice.
I haven't done it yet, because I'm done. I'm sorry, Mally, I love you, but it's I got your father, so
we've had a lot of tangents there.
Yeah. Anyway,
back to book 1. So we wake up to Juice pounding on the door. Yeah.
Can I? Because like I said, I have the manga in front of me, and I only have volumes 1 and 2, so it's not very far into the story. But the scene with Ace and the tarts and Riddle is. This is the dialogue from the scene. There's so much here. No one will notice if I just... Oh, okay. Those look amazing. And there's so much here. No one will notice if I take just one slice, right? Don't mind if I do. How can anything be so delicious? Of course it's delicious. Trey's tarts are always superb. No, this is seriously good. Better than anything you could buy. House Warden!
I think that's the same dialogue from the game, yeah.
Is it? Oh. Well,
I'm not sure.
I find it really fucking funny.
It is funny, I agree with that.
I just love the Riddle butting in with, well, of course my boyfriend's tarts are amazing. He's amazing.
Of course. Yeah. I'm just seeing this and I'm going like, these are 3 new tarts. It doesn't matter how much you take. Of course, they're going to notice something's been taken. It would be different if it was like a half-eaten tart. Sure, probably no one's going to notice, but these aren't new.
They're fresh.
It's like, what did you plan on doing? Like, taking a little of the middle and smoothing it out with a spoon or something? Like,
Yeah. Well, so in the manga, you do get to see like what he does, and he does just fully take a slice.
he's so dumb.
He's so dumb.
Not in an affectionate way.
No, he's just dumb.
That's why the brain cell duo is called the brainless duo. It's, yeah. Speaking of which, we wake up to Deuce knocking on the door and being like, are you gonna come to classes? And they're trying, he's like, you need to come apologize before classes start. And Ace is annoyed, but he goes to apologize. And then Cater decides he is gonna make us do all these things and paint the roses red so he doesn't have to. And then realizes, he's like, oh wait, you have a collar. I can't let you in. Bye. And kicks us out. So, yeah, I forgot that Cater is a little manipulative.
He's manipulative.
After the fic I read you yesterday?
Yeah.
Or, what, yesterday? 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
I don't even know anymore.
Time is a construct. It's an illusion. Yeah. Especially because his specialty is he can just make so many of himself. He could get that done in like 5 minutes. Or are you just waiting for freshmen to show him? I know.
But he could do that. But that would still be him doing the work. So
He doesn't want to work.
I've seen really depressing fan art with a split card thing.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that later. Especially because technically, if the person listening to this has never played book 1, I've already spoiled something for you. So yeah, then they go to their classes, and Ace just has to suffer.
But in with the manga thing here,
of course.
I just want to say, the panel of Cater, Cater notices the collar, and then he goes, so I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. That panel takes up a whole page. Genuinely the most menacing I think it is possible to draw Cater. Like, it is actually scary.
I haven't read
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
To get it.
I'll send you guys a picture of it later. It is like genuinely menacing, and I just find that wow. The fact that it's even possible at all to draw Cater menacing.
I can't wait for the anime to come out and like that scene to be made, because I really want to hear Cater just speak in the most menacing voice ever.
Yes.
Like,
but I feel like it's gonna be something where it's like his voice is still all cheery and he's just like dark clouds behind him.
Get the fuck.
Yeah. Like,
I feel like it's gonna be
so
that.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Something like that. Who did we?
And then just black background.
Which also, like, I feel like the way he says it, especially in the manga, it kind of points in the direction of he might have been the last house warden.
I really like that theory. But it just throws me off so much.
We talked about this before.
Yeah, it's just, like, I really like that theory, but then rereading, like, the wiki with all the dialogue, like, the way he talks about the past house warden really does sound like it was another person, instead of just, like, oh, it was me, but I don't like pointing that out.
Well, I don't think
just,
I'd
like,
want to
saying
point it
how,
out
like,
either if some little freshman came in and beat my ass.
Well, still, I feel like things would slip, especially because it has been, like, what? Oh, it's only been a year at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
do want to say I'm not gonna give out names because I've told you guys, but like, the voice acting industry doesn't like when people do fan casts, and that is the industry that I want to go into. So I'm not going to give names, but I will say, when we did our little in-group fan cast, the person that we put as Cater, I think would be able to pull off that cheery but also menacing so well. So
I don't watch enough anime to make a fan cast, so
Caden and I did it, and it was
I know.
I watch too much anime.
me
I know.
too.
I read. So all the voices are in my head.
If
Hang on, I'll
anyone's
put
if
them
anyone,
and then the role that I think that is like, I think he would be able to pull it off in the chat.
I don't know. But yeah, going back to the like House Warden thing, like he always just says he's like, the past House Warden wasn't really like that strict with it, because I feel like at that point, you know, there would be some slips of like, I never made such a big deal about the rules, or like I never bothered learning all the rules when I was like, I just feel like there'd be more of like, I get what Caden's saying, that like, you know, if I got beat by a little freshman, I wouldn't want to be bragging about it, but I also feel like he would be the person to just be like, oh yeah, I used to be this, but I never really cared about the rules, so Riddle quickly fixed that or something.
yeah,
Like, I kind of feel like he'd be the person that would point it out. I don't know.
he's pretty depressed.
But I do,
So
yeah. I mean, yeah. But I don't know. I do like that theory.
yeah. Okay.
So we go to classes, which are all essentially open your textbook, follow along, and you know, which works out great for Ace because he can't do magic. Grim has decided he's having none of this, and he's going to become a powerful mage all by himself, and he doesn't need to do this, and promptly runs off.
Of course.
So we have to go chase him, and we're like, Ace, Deuce, come help us chase Grim. And they're like, I don't really feel like it. I'm like, come on, like, you have to. I don't remember who said what or something, but someone's like, I really like this item from the cafeteria. And I think it was Deuce or something that was like, I could go for a frappe, you know? Like, they're just like, we'll help you chase your cat. That's also the, like, other half of you for student-wise to make sure you don't get expelled if you buy us some food.
With what money?
Yeah, with what money? We're broke. Like, we know Crowley ain't paying for anything. But
We'll say that's not in the manga. Chasing
that's not in the manga?
Yeah, Chasing Grim is not in the manga. And we do actually get, like, a look into the classes in the manga. Like, it's... Yeah. I really hope that when the anime comes out, they just kind of adapt the manga.
Well, obviously they.
Because I can't really see any other way to do, like, you than how the manga is doing it. So...
I feel like they could do it really interesting and just have it, like, everything is in, like, you first person, and we just never look in a mirror.
Honestly, I feel like I've watched a few animes like that, and it's really cool, but also super annoying.
Yeah, I see it. I could see it both ways. But obviously that wouldn't work with how it's just, like, so many things that, like, we're not there for.
Yeah.
Like, half the events. But yeah, they did a brief glimpse into the classroom, but more like, here's the teacher and a paragraph of sentence. Next class. And then you had Trains, which I think had the longest dialogue, because after, like, every single thing he said, it was interrupted by a meow.
Meow.
That was literally the dialogue. It's like, today we're learning about this.
Meow.
Meow. Please turn to this
in the
page
manga,
of your book.
Trains
Meow.
is, like, the shortest of actual instruction, because they so, like, you know, the brain cell duo and then Grim are, like, falling asleep, so Lucius goes up and he, like, bops Grim on the nose, and then it's really funny, honestly.
I don't think that happened in the game, and I love that. I knew he was falling asleep in one of the classes, because that's, like, why he's running out. He's like, I'm just sleeping through it. Like, it's so boring. But
It is probably.
You know what? Next time I'm home, and like we hang out, I will lend you guys what I have of the manga because it's just really funny.
Okay, otherwise
As a player.
I know we have a copy in the system of the first one, although I saw it once and then I never saw it again. So I think it's just constantly been checked out.
Good.
So if I can get my hands on it that way, I will. If not, I will let you know.
Anyway, moving on.
Expect this episode to have lots of tangents.
Yep, we love it.
I'm trying to remember what the next thing was because my notes just say Ace running his mouth. I think that was when he was complaining about Riddle in the cafeteria, and then like Trey and Cater came up, and they're like, "He's not that bad. He's just a bit strict. Like, it's fine." And Riddle probably shows up. I know at some point Riddle shows up as Ace is saying how he's a little tyrant, and Riddle's just like, "Excuse me, I was gonna take the collar off when you were ready to apologize, but I can see that won't be happening anytime soon, so have fun having it on for like a week."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That
then we
happens
go over
after the dorms, though. In the manga, at least, it could be a different order in the game.
I mean, Ace probably runs his mouth a lot, so
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like,
going over the dorms is the next one.
They're going over the dorms because I remember Leah pops up over the table, and then they're talking about. I think it's when Lilia's popped up over the table, and they're talking about Riddle. Because I know Cater and
that might be right.
And they're like,
that might be right.
Those people are those people, and those people are those people, and those people never come over. And then Lilia's like, "You're talking about me?" And everyone. And
no, it was.
Oh, I thought there was only to speak guys in this school.
So in the manga, this is when they go over the Great Seven. They don't do that in the prologue book, like they do in the game. But then they go into like talking about the dorms, and they talk about how nobody has any Ignihide friends, and then they just kind of glance over at the Diasomnia table, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're all just like super powerful," and that's just kind of the Diasomnia trait. And then Lily just shows up.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is too, because they're like doing the dramatic, like this one with this color, and then they're based on this person who's known for their like the Sea Witch and her benevolent kindness and all that. And I'm trying to remember like what they did for all of them, because Grimm's like dramatically pointing it out. So like they have Savannah Claw, and I think Grimm's just like, "Oh look, that person has ears, like animal ears."
You can't just point out people's ears.
I know, right? Octagonal, I don't remember what they pointed out for them. I think they were just like, "Who's those tall dudes over there?" Because the Tweels.
Which I don't happen, because why would those interpreters be at lunch when they own a cafe?
I know, right? I don't remember. And then they have wrong. I'm missing a house. Then they have Scarabia, and they're just like, there's like, "Who has this armband?" And they said they do. I think they said Scarabia tends to have like the top marks in class. Like they tend to have the best grades, although their current house warden doesn't seem to care that much about it. Like that's what they said about it. Then they have Pompier, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, they have a girl at their table."
And they're talking about
Ace,
Ethel, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about Ethel because Ace is just like, "What? There's a girl here?" And Trey's just like, "This is an all-boys school." Like, what? Trey was
they
just
don't
confused.
talk about. Yeah, in the manga, like there's no interjections from anyone. It's just all Trey.
That is so boring.
But the art is really pretty for these panels.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, the art is really pretty overall, but like these panels are like
extra pretty.
So pretty.
They have, like sparkles.
The Pompier panel makes me so sad because it's Ethel eating, and he just looks really sad, and then there's just Rook standing over him.
No.
just smiling.
I was gonna say, I just immediately pictured him like T-posing over Ethel. Just
he's just standing behind him, like with a glass of water for some reason.
It's probably not.
But it's just like, I feel like this is just like Vil has like just stuck Rook on Ethel and just said like, make sure he, I don't know, eats right? I don't know. Eats like this specific diet.
Probably.
And it just makes me sad for our country boy.
This is like the second day of school, meaning it's the second day of torture for Ethel. Like, he just got placed into Pompior. He just got his accent taken away. He just got turned into the girliest dude in the world. And now he's stuck like this. Like,
Ethel needs to transfer dorms.
He so does.
He's not going to be able to, but he should.
Put him in Savannah Claw.
Like, I know we kind of talked about it in like Caden's solo episode. I'm gonna bring it up here. I don't care. It's not on topic, but I don't care. We kind of talked about it in Caden's solo episode when I popped in for the last few minutes. But Ethel's story is just so transcoded, and I relate to him so much, and it's just, it makes me sad.
It makes me sad too.
That's all.
So yeah, the descriptions for Ignihide and Diasomnia were pretty much what you said. They're just like, oh, I don't see anyone from Ignihide here. They're kind of introverted. And then the second they point out Diasomnia, Lilia's floating upside down above our table.
He's like, you talking about me?
But in the manga, he's not upside down. He just like appears on the like bench in between Ace and Deuce.
How dare, that was so freaking funny.
I so vividly
want him to be upside down, but he's not.
Because he was like, something about like a vampire. I am so vividly remembering them being like, oh, he looks like a vampire.
Well, his like in-game, like the little banners that you get for having so many of cards of each character.
Yeah.
His name is Vampiric Fae.
Yeah.
Like, that's so funny.
Because he is like a isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
He's not actually a vampire, but he has vampiric traits, like the pale skin, the fangs, the bat theme. He doesn't like sunlight. His favorite food is tomato juice, which is not blood, but it is a red drink.
I feel like he feeds into the vampire thing just to be funny.
I've seen so many things where it's like them drawing Lilia next to like Draculaura from Monster High.
Yes, I find that so funny. My first fandom was Monster High, and it's so, I don't know, like nostalgic to see like one of my current major fandoms. I will not say my major fandom because that is Modozusho, but like my second major fandom, and then my first ever fandom drawn together. It's just
I wasn't ever after High person, so I saw one where it was like, I want Riddle and Lizzie Hearts to meet and see how chaotic that would be.
Yeah, I was in both.
I don't think I ever got far enough for her.
Lizzie? I mean, she was kind of there from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like, for main character, like, I don't know. I didn't last it very long, but...
I was with Ever After High from the beginning all the way until the end. Fuck Descendants. Fuck Disney Descendants. Honestly,
I was straight up looking at getting the Descendants books on Macari like an hour ago. And I found 3 of them for $15 counting shipping. Hardcover, and I have to talk myself into not buying it because I've spent too much money and I can't work right now, so I need to not do that.
I will say though, like,
but I want to.
I feel like if Disney didn't get Ever After High with Descendants, they would have gotten them with Twisted Wonderland, and I don't want to say fuck Twisted Wonderland, so...
Yeah.
Because Ever After High... Descendants is similar to Ever After High, but Twisted Wonderland is just too similar to Ever After High.
It's like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just masculine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's more like Descendants is more similar to it in the sense of it's just the, like, here's the kids of fairy tale characters.
Yeah,
But,
they
like,
also
the plot
kind of
is,
have like the
its own
two
thing.
sides versus each other, which Ever After High does have. But like,
Yeah.
I
But
feel
then
like
for this, it's just like school.
yeah. But I feel like the aesthetics of Twisted Wonderland line up more with the aesthetics of Ever After High
I fully
than
agree
Descendants did. Although actually I feel like the aesthetics are a bit more like Monster High, but yeah.
I tried watching Monster High like last year because I was like, why not? And I'm watching these like 5-minute episodes and I'm like, where's the plot?
Watch the movies. The original movies,
Watch
the
the
Gen 1
movies?
movies, not the Gen 3 movies. Because the Gen 3 and the Gen 2 movies are really bad. But like, watch the movies if you can find them.
Is Gen 3 the one with weird animation? Like the newest one?
Gen 3 is the newest one. Gen
Okay.
2 has I think Gen 2 also has weird animation. Like the colors are brighter. But like honestly Gen 1 also has weird animation, but that's just because it's older. But like
We'll have
Gen
a
1 I
sleepover
think
and
has the
just
best
binge
plot
it.
and the best aesthetics, and I'm not fully against Gen 3. I'm liking what they're doing with some of the characters. It's just I prefer Gen 1.
I've seen a lot of things on Instagram saying Gen 1 is better than Gen 3. I don't really see anything for
I'm
Gen 2.
not going to say that because I don't want hate, but because that's a hot topic. But
As
I will
someone who
say,
hasn't watched it,
fuck the
this is
people
what
who
I'm
are
seeing.
making the Stop the Gen 3 hate posts, because if you're combining I don't like what they're doing with the characters with Draculaura's not fat, Frankie's not non-binary, that's not what true Monster High fans are saying. Okay, that's all.
We'll just get together one day and have a sleepover and watch these movies and stuff.
Y'all, we're only 5 punctuation points in.
Bullet points?
Bullet
Yeah.
points. That's
Anyway.
Yeah. Everyone has access to the bullet point list. So we go over the dorms. And then we have it, so Trey is saying if we are to apologize to Riddle, we need a replacement tart. That's one of the rules. You have to replace the tart. So they're just like, well, we'll just go to a store and buy one. And then they're like, well, Trey made the tarts, so let's just have Trey make the replacement tart. Which I think is kind of rude. And they're like, it would be cheaper to make it than it would be to buy it. Which I think would be very debatable.
yeah, because like nowadays,
If you want a quality tart, though, which they were
I know.
quality tarts.
They were quality tarts. Which I do agree. If you were going to a legit bakery, you might have better chances making it from scratch. But I also don't think any of us know how to cook besides Trey, so I'm just saying.
I know how to cook, so if this were like me in there, I know how to bake. I can follow a recipe really well.
if you can follow,
I can follow a recipe. That does not mean it's going to come out well.
no, that is not true. If you're following a recipe, it's gonna come out. If you don't follow the recipe correctly, it's not gonna come out. Some dude was
Yeah, if you're
Well,
baking.
That's like one of the things with baking. It's like when I make cakes, like if I'm making a cake from scratch, the cake turns out fine, but I have yet to find a like homemade frosting recipe that actually tastes good.
Frosting never tastes good. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I hate frosting.
I love frosting.
The only good flavors, like kinds of frosting, are chocolate and mint frosting, and that is it.
I've never had.
I haven't really had mint frosting.
You've never had mint frosting? Come over to my house for
No.
Christmas at some point. I always make like chocolate cupcakes with mint frosting. That's like what I provide to Christmas dinner. So come over
holding you
for
to it a
Christmas,
year
or I'll
from
bring
now.
you some.
Okay, but like,
No.
sorry. Why does Trey not decide to make the same exact tart that he already made instead of the chestnut tart? Like,
I mean,
like why?
I can see it both ways because, okay, so like, I could understand just being like, we need to replace this, let's replace the same thing. But he was also going like, oh, I know this is something Riddle wants, and you seem to be on very not good terms with him. Maybe this will help a little.
Maybe.
So I can understand from both perspectives, but also plot. So we make a chestnut tart, which requires us to go find about like 300 chestnuts, which apparently they're spiky. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a new fact for you.
Yeah, I'm like reading this and Grim's just like, ow, I can't pick them up with my paws, it hurts. And I'm just like,
It's a chestnut.
what? I'm just picturing like a hazelnut or something. I'm like, what? It's spiky? Okay then. So we're going to look for gloves.
Oh, okay, wait. Sorry, I was looking for something in the manga. You were talking about why we decided to make a chestnut tart.
Mm-hmm.
In the manga, Trey is actually the one who suggests it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the same.
No, it's the same. I'm just, why did you,
Okay.
like, I getting the perspective now of like, oh, Riddle probably wants a chestnut tart instead of like,
Yeah, it's
placing the one that
in the yeah. In the manga, the dialogue is, Riddle's been wanting a chestnut tart, so I was going to make some. That means I need chestnuts. Could you get some for me? So
Yeah.
it is fully just, my boyfriend wants this. Why not use the freshman to get it? Yeah.
which feeds into Trey's bitch.
Yes, in this scene, he is a little manipulative. However, still, that does not mean that the whole point of Trey is not that he's just some guy, because he is.
I personally don't see this as manipulative. It's more like killing two birds with one stone. It's like, I have to make this tart anyway, and he needs to replace the tart. So we're both just gonna make the tart. And they also don't know how to cook, so you go get the chestnuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I also do
manipulative.
feel like part of him, like, making Ace go get the chestnuts is, obviously there's, the whole, it's transactional, I'm going to teach you how to make the tart, so you go get the chestnuts. But also, Ace has just spent the entirety of lunchtime insulting his, like, Trey's best friend. So I feel like he's a little pissed at him.
It's justified. It's very justified.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I'm not
Like, if somebody spent my entire lunch period insulting one of my best friends and then asked me to, like, teach them how to bake something, I would say, yeah, okay, go buy the ingredients.
Yeah.
Go buy the ingredients, find the recipe, then I'll teach you.
I'm also just wondering why there's a bunch of chestnut plants on campus that we could just go fetch 300 of them.
Magic garden.
Magic
Magic
They
garden.
probably
We have so many bullet points left.
Yeah.
Hello? Everyone still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, you cut
Okay.
out, I think. I don't know, unless you just stopped talking.
It's hard to tell. So we're looking for gloves, and we go into the greenhouse where we step on what I think the dialogue was saying. It's like, oh, it's a stick. It moved. It's a snake. It's a person. It's Leona the gardener. He's literally just like, who disturbed me in my nap? You're in a greenhouse. You must be the gardener.
I mean, I will say, Leona's not wearing the full school uniform. He's not wearing his blazer. He's wearing sandals. He's not wearing his blazer or his tie. He doesn't have his magic pen. He's wearing sandals. I feel like, yeah, it kind of, for somebody new to this world, yeah, I can kind of see them thinking, oh, might be the gardener or something. He's also 20.
Yeah.
And, like, looks like an adult man, so.
Well, when you say it that way, I can understand them not thinking he's a student, but it's also the fact that, like, we don't go like, oh, are you the gardener? It's the fact that we state it as a fact.
Oh, you're the gardener. I mean,
You're the gardener.
like, there's nothing else you could possibly think.
Yeah.
The only other
And
option is, like,
seems-
homeless man invited to the school.
He's not what he also.
I mean, for all we know, he's the botany teacher. Like,
Is there a botany teacher?
no, but do we know that?
No.
True.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like if there was, there obviously is a gardener who probably works really close with people who want to learn about, like, potions and stuff.
I don't think there is. I think that's what Cruel assigns. I think that's what he assigns as homework, to go work in the gardens.
Yeah, because like in Lilia's vignette, they talk about like every student that's in a potions class has like their little section of ingredients, and they tend to that section that's where all of their potions ingredients come from.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Lilia, who just
And
goes
also
and
in
steals
Apples.
ingredients from other people's
So,
gardens.
They also talked about it in Apples because he accidentally dropped like a potion vial, and Corell's like, well, you need to go garden and make enough to like refill this. And Apple doesn't realize that these plants only like bloom once a year. But he makes it work. He makes it work. He's a smart little boy. Yeah, we have... And then, so Leona looks like he's gonna go kill us, and then Ruggy shows up, and he's like, you need to get to class.
I got you, Sam.
Do you want to be held back another year? And then we leave.
We're like, what a weird gardener.
Weird gardener. Yeah, weird gardener. And we also just don't mention it to anyone.
Which is so weird. I would be like,
until later.
is there like a homeless guy living in the garden? Because I swear I just saw one. He got ears in this. I stepped on him.
Especially because he threatens
Yeah.
us. Like, I really would go back to Ace and Deuce and just be like, But no, we just
guy in the fucking garden.
we just don't say anything until like the end of the book, if not book 2. Because Grimm just makes some comment like, I don't think that was a gardener. And then we say it to his face in book 2. So then you have horrible twist tunes of making the pie tart.
Oh, because these are like the
isn't this
purple ones, aren't they?
They're the purple ones.
Ew.
We hate the purple ones.
Purple one.
Uh-huh.
They're not good. And I think that's like the entirety of book 1 is just the purple ones.
Which means I only have like half of the fucking twist tune achievements, and it's killing me.
You can just
I
like
just did the ones that got me gems, and then I didn't care.
you can just like if you're just going for the play this tune 5 or 10 times, you don't have to actually play it.
Yeah,
You can just let it run and it'll count that.
yeah.
So that's what I did for all the purple ones.
But then they also have the like reach this thing
Oh,
or this
yeah.
many points, or
Because I want to like full finish. I want to get the 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I just did whatever ones got me gems, and then didn't care.
I care.
So
Let me see. I got it because I got 30.
I would open the app, but it would probably mess with my stuff.
I got 39.
If you have it muted, it won't. I say that because I have it open right now.
It's fine.
So 3.
Anyway, we've been recording for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're
Gosh.
We're not halfway.
Okay,
We have.
time to decide right now. Is this going to be 2 separate episodes or one really long episode?
we just speed through the rest. Just no more tangents.
No more.
You say that as if it's possible.
Okay, what's next? You have oyster sauce, and I do have for that.
Okay. Okay, so Trey's, we're making the tart, and Trey goes like, in time for the secret ingredient, it's a little bit of oyster sauce. And everyone's like, what the heck? Isn't that super salty? And then Deuce and Ace are just like, well, I mean, like, in some desserts, like this would do this, or like I guess it wouldn't like enhance the flavor, and they're like reasoning it out, and then Trey bursts out laughing, and he's like, guys, I'm just joking with you. You don't need oyster sauce in this. And then for some reason, after we make the tart, he goes and makes us buy ingredients for the tart.
No, they run out of ingredients while making the tart.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that's it's right before one of the twist.
Again, I skimmed it.
Okay, so it's before one of the twist tunes. They ran out of ingredients to make the frosting. And so they go to Sam's now. And so they...
I just know we had to get eggs and milk.
So we go off to go get eggs and milk with Deuce. And then we get some eggs. And Deuce is being, like, odd about the eggs. Like, super fucking odd about the eggs. And then we run into some punks. And we find out Deuce is a punk. And it's hilarious as fuck. Because he, like, is fighting these kids. And he's like, the eggs, you're killing the baby chickens.
It's just so funny because these dudes are expecting like a magic fight, and then Deuce just like jacks them or something, and they're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then he found out he was a punk that used to bleach his hair until he found his mom crying. So he pulled his act together.
Which is so sweet.
It is. We love Deuce. But yeah, he was crying because he didn't know that the eggs you buy in the store don't turn into chickens.
Sorry for the loud noises. I found one of those pullback cars that go forward when you let drive them.
I didn't hear anything until you said sorry for the noises, and then just
sorry. Well, it was more
okay. Okay. Trying to rush through. We're almost at the halfway mark. So we get back. Ace is like, what the heck happened to Deuce? And we're just like, don't ask. So we finish the tart. And fresh out of the oven, which honestly, before this, for some reason, I did not realize tarts went in the oven because I'm like, this is a cold dessert. Why would you bake it?
I think just for a chestnut dessert. Not gonna lie, man, because I didn't bake the tart that I made.
I think it was just the crust they used or something. Like, I think he used, like, dough instead of, like, graham cracker or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know. He's the baker. He would know. So then we're all trying it, and Cater shows up, and he's like, Trey, you should use your magic. So he's like, think of your favorite food. And Ace is like, cherry pie or something.
Cherry
or
pie
hamburgers.
and hamburgers.
Yeah, and hamburgers. And so we take a bite, and it tastes like whatever our favorite food is. Because that's Trey's signature spell. He's like, it's just like a little parlor trick, kind of, it's just like a little... It's nothing like riddles or something. He's like, it's just this. So it just essentially changes what something is. And one of the things I don't like is because, so... in America, it is called Paint the Roses, which makes sense for a Hearts of Yule character, Paint the Roses, obviously. But then I found out in Japan it's called Doodle Suit, and I think that's adorable.
It makes no...
I will say they keep Doodle Suit in the manga. So I think they might keep it for the anime. I really hope they'll keep it for the anime. Also, the panel of Trey casting Doodle Suit is really creepy. And I don't know why.
That would make sense.
I only found out it was called Doodle Suit because it was like Cater and Trey fan art, and it was like little chibi versions of them, and it was Cater eating the like groovy lollies, and he was making a face at it, and Trey was just like, oh sorry, I forgot to cast Doodle Suit, and I thought it was adorable. Because Cater doesn't like sweet stuff. So he just always gets Trey to cast Doodle Suit before he eats sweet stuff.
Which,
he likes spicy things.
Do they talk about the reasoning behind it in canon, or is that like a headcanon that I saw?
I think so. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know I've heard it enough that I thought it was canon, but they didn't say it in the book one.
So I don't know if this is canon or headcanon. Either way, it's really fucking sad, but the reason, again, don't know if it's canon or headcanon, the reason that Cater doesn't like sweet stuff is because he was practically force-fed sweet things by his sisters growing up. Like, his whole life, he's been forced to eat sweet stuff all the time by his sisters, and it just makes me so sad for him. Like, I love sweet things.
I think it might be canon. I was gonna say, because I know I read a fic or two that had it in it, so maybe it's just like an offhanded comment or something.
Let me see if it's in his wiki anywhere.
I think he might bring it up in the Scalding Sands one, the like Firelit Sky, because he's saying, because they're like, oh, try this like sweet fruit or something, and he's like, I don't like sweet things. So I don't know, could be wrong. Let us know in the comments.
I think he actually says he doesn't like sweet things. I think he just like will eat them and kind of like doesn't really eat them. Like, will take a bite to be nice.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think he just tries to avoid eating.
Yeah, because like Trey only notices because he's like, oh yeah, whenever we eat sweet things, you always like ask me to use my magic. So I think he's trying not to hurt anyone's feelings.
Now I'm so confused, because now I like distinctly remember a scene of like Trey just making some comment of like, Cater doesn't like sweet things, and he's like, how did you know? And he's like, you always ask me to cast my signature spell before you eat something sweet. Like, so now I have no clue whether or not this is canon or
Okay.
really popular fanon.
Okay, so it's not on his wiki, but it is on a fact sheet on Tumblr that claims to be pulling from canon sources, from translated Japanese canon sources. Where is it? Cater didn't always dislike sweet foods, but when he was 10 years old, his mother and 2 older sisters went through a phase where they would make sweets every single day. Since child Cater usually had a big appetite, they would always pile his plate with handmade sweets. At first, he was happy to be able to indulge to such a degree, but over time he grew tired of eating so much sweet-tasting food. Whenever he tried to refuse their food, they would look sad, making him feel guilty for being the source of their unhappiness, so he would force himself to eat what they made. Over time, he came to dislike sweet things in general.
Poor boy. Okay, anyway, next bullet point.
Next bullet point is how there are 810 rules in Hearts of Yule.
It's just
almost 1,000. I would not survive in this storm.
Honestly, all the rules that I've read so far, I think I might be able to, because a lot of them are like limiting like foods, and I'm just like, I don't eat these foods anyway.
Like, I'm sure realistically I probably could, but it would be the fact that there's 810 of them that I couldn't. Fun fact, the first time I took one of the like, what dorm are you in quizzes, I got Hearts of Yule and I straight up laughed. I went, no. And then I proceeded to get a different dorm with every test I took. It was great. First duplicate I got was Diasomnia, so woo, that's what I'm saying my dorm is.
Nice.
Okay, so then we have the unbirthday party, and, you know, we present Riddle our tart, and, okay, well, wait. I guess I didn't add it on the bullet point because I already knew. But right before that, we get to the dorm, and Cater's still setting up, and we have a little heart attack because suddenly there's 3 Caters, and we think he's like twins and triplets, and then he's just like, no, this is my signature spell, split card.
Ooh, okay. See, that is different in the manga. In the manga, they pull out and they explain split card when he kicks us out of the dorm. Or at least, they don't explain it, but he does it then. So, like, we...
Yeah, that does not happen in the game.
Yeah.
We don't see split card until we're showing up for the unbirthday party, and then, which also for his split card, they just use all his different, like, outfits. So there's, like, normal Cater, then dorm uniform Cater, then gym Cater, then lab Cater.
And then in the manga, they're just all wearing the dorm uniform, so.
Which makes more sense. But because suddenly it's just like, there's 2 of them. Is he a twin? There's a 3rd. Oh my gosh. And then he's just like, nah, dude, that's my spell. And he breaks it. And they all go away.
And I would like confuse people so hard. I'd be like, oh yeah, I dropped it.
Okay, by the way, this is... I don't know if Volume 3 of the manga is out yet, but I only have the first 2 volumes, so that's where the manga cuts off after, like, they're eating the tart. So...
Okay.
Yeah. I will be less
Noted.
help from here on out.
How many are there going to be for book 1? Is there 4 mangas? Or is it 3?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. But, so then we present Riddle with the tart, and he loses it. Because apparently there is a rule saying that you cannot have a chestnut tart at an unbirthday party. And
Trey's like, my bad, bros.
Yeah, they're just like, Trey, you're the Vice House Warden. How'd you not know this? Like, it's Cater talking to it, and he's like, I only memorized, like, the first 300 rules. Like, he's like, I didn't know. So Cater's like, so Riddle's, like, throwing a fit and saying how, like, the tart needs to be, you need to get rid of the offending tart, and Grimm's just like, if you're gonna get rid of it, just let me eat the tart. Like, don't throw away a good tart. And he's like, no, you have to get rid of the offending tart. No one can eat this. And he throws it away and kicks us out of the dorm again, because how dare we ruin his unbirthday party. But it's also funny during that, because I did have a quote during this, because Ace is like going like how this is so ridiculous, and he's just like, Riddle's just like a tyrant and all that, and they're just like, dude, you're kind of digging your own grave here, stop it. And Ace just goes, nah bro, I got a shovel and I'm digging. And that was just it's my favorite line from Ace.
Honestly, Ace's only good line.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when he punches.
So yeah. So we get kicked out, and Trey's trying to do, like, damage control with us, like, trying to just be like, it's not Riddle's fault. Like, he had, like, a really rough home life, and, like, this is how he was raised, so that transferred over when he was here, and all that. And Ace just goes, so this is your fault for not putting a stop to this. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. So then Crowley shows up, because...
Wait, did we talk about Chanya yet? Has Chanya shown up yet?
Oh, yeah, I guess Chanya shows up right before that. I missed a point.
Yeah. I love
right
Chanya.
after we get kicked out of the... I love him too. Right after we get kicked out of the dorm, some dude, just his head shows up. And Grimm goes, he's a beastman. He must be from that house Pajama Clog. I don't remember I think this one was Banana Clog. I did write down all the incorrect door names they had. So from Grimm, we have Savannah Claw, also known as Pajama Clog and Banana Claw. And then back when they're at the table introducing all the dorms, Deuce points at the Diasomia table and goes, Isn't that Dihonularia?
Ooh, okay, that is in the... Hang on. In the manga, it's different.
And they're just like, they're like, well, you started right.
Where is it?
But yeah, what's it in the manga?
The
I found that funny.
Homalala.
Yeah. The mood. That's also how I would pronounce it. But yeah, so Grimm just goes, he has cat ears. He must be from Banana Clog. And they're just like, beastmen are allowed in other dorms, Grimm.
And the only canon information we have that supports this is what was it? It was an event, and they were having
that something happened, and they needed a cat beastman to play the fiddle.
There is also
before. Or
there's
something
a picture
like that. I don't know.
Hang on, it's in the manga somewhere, but I don't remember where. I don't remember if it's at the end of the first volume or the beginning of the second volume.
Like,
it must be beginning of the second
there's
volume.
a random beastman.
Where is it? I'm forgetting which animal they are. Oh, okay. So in the manga, we don't get faces or names or anything, but there are background Heartstibule characters. There are, like, there's a mouse beastman, a cat beastman, a rabbit beastman, and what I think must be a fox, maybe? Sure. Yeah. So there are other beastmen in Hearts of the Mule. Only in the manga, though.
Only in the manga.
Only in the manga.
But, mood. But yeah, so we meet Chenya, and I honestly don't really remember what his interaction is, besides the fact that he, starts as a head and then comes back, and he's also just like, yeah, my name is his, 4 really long names that I don't remember.
Pinka. Yes, I know his name.
Baby and names it
Chenya.
that.
Huh?
Who looks at a baby and names it that?
Chenya's parents, apparently.
Well, one of them's the last name. One of them is the last name.
Pinka is the last name. But then his first and middle names are Alchemy and Alchemyevich.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't really remember their interaction that much.
Yeah.
I think he disappears right after that.
Yeah. But I do love him.
So yeah, then I do. Then Crowley shows up, and he's saying how you could do a dorm transfer, but that's a lot of paperwork. So if you could not transfer dorms, that would be preferred. You could just duel him instead. He's really looking at this freshman and just being like, can you not make me do paperwork? And can you just try and become house warden instead? That would be really great. So Deuce says he'll also try to be house warden. He'll also duel to be house warden. Unfortunately, it has to be a magic duel, because he's really going, I could take Riddle out with a left hook here, and Crowley's like, please, no. No. It has to be magic. So then they go back to Heartsabule, and Riddle's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm challenging you, so take this dumb collar off me. And he's like, you're ridiculous. And then they have some comment, and he's like, I don't remember the exact time, but it's like, Cater, make sure my tea is ready. Make sure my 4 o'clock tea is ready. And he's like, but it's 3:30. And he's like, I'll be done by then. So they're offended that they think that he's like, you think it's going to take half an hour to duel both of us? Which I think for some reason they duel at the same time.
I think they want house.
That could just be
know.
game mechanics, though, for the fighting.
Yeah.
They could, I don't know.
Like, I'm sure they went separate,
we'll see
but
what
they
happens
really
when
make it
they
look like
adapt it
they went
into the
together.
manga. But I think that could, them going at the same time could
people
just be
that
game
read
mechanics.
Japanese would know that. Yeah. So for some reason, the duel starts when Crowley takes a little hand mirror and throws it on the floor, and the glass breaks. I feel like that is just very dumb, because now you have broken glass on the floor.
They're wearing shoes.
It's kind of a hazard, but
They're wearing shoes.
they're wearing shoes.
Okay.
But
What if the shoe? What if the glass
So
gets
that
stuck in the
happens.
shoe, and then you take your shoe off, and then Grim licks the bottom of your shoe, because he would. Now he's got
Why?
What if you just have really thin soles? What if you just have really thin shoes?
Jackie.
Hazards.
They're all wearing,
I remember
sneakers.
playing this.
That's part of, except for
I
Riddle,
remember
who's
playing
wearing
this
heels.
because... Yeah, he has heels. We love.
We love him.
Gotta gain a few inches on the short boy. So yeah, I remember playing this and it going, if Ace wins the duel, he becomes House Warden, and then they immediately stick us in a duel. And I'm here going, I don't want to win the duel because I don't want him to be House Warden. So I purposely lost the first duel.
You can't do that.
And then it was I had won all the other ones before that, so I didn't know.
Yeah. What?
I thought it was actually going to be plot relevant. I was dumb. So then I had to redo it, and I won, and I was like, I don't want him to win. And then he immediately loses, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Yeah. So then, in response to getting another collar put on him and a few insults, I'm almost positive it is Ace. I'm not 100% sure. Decks him.
It's definitely Ace.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. It threw me off because I'm pretty sure in the fic they made it you, but I'm not sure. I just remember you decking Riddle at some point. I'm pretty sure it was in that fic. I guess I'll just call everyone dude and bro now. I could be wrong. But yeah, so Riddle gets decked. And then Ace is like, he's a little tyrant. We shouldn't be letting him run our dorm. All this. And then everyone else is like, yeah, I'm getting kind of sick of all his rules. And someone throws an egg at Riddle. Why do you have an egg? I have questions. That's Kate. Like, so someone throws an egg at Riddle, and then he overblots, which I think is a valid response. So Riddle's overblotting everything, like the trees, there's like black haze, the trees are being like uprooted out of the ground, and Crowley's just like, oh no, this is not good.
Oh no.
Can everyone please leave? He's like, the amount of paperwork I'll have to do for this, oh no. So everyone's leaving except for us, because we gotta fix this apparently. And then you find out Trey's magic is OP. And because Riddle's like going berserk, his magic's everywhere, and Trey just stops it. And Riddle's like, how is this possible? What the heck? You can't. And everyone's like, what just happened? And he's like, it's my signature spell. I'm overwriting his magic. I'm just rewriting his magic. But I can't do this for very long. And it's like, you called it like a parlor trick earlier, but okay. Whatever then. So then I'm pretty sure there's a battle right there. And then you go into his backstory, and you find out his mother's horrible. Also, is his dad alive?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Most of the fics I read, he is not. Potentially murdered by his mom. It seems to be a common trend. Probably. But yeah, so you find out the like first scene is like a little baby Riddle at his birthday, and his mom's like, here's your cake. It's sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, fun-free, disgusting, healthy thing. You can have like a piece of it. And he's just like, but I want one of the pretty cakes with strawberries. And she goes, no. Do you understand how horrible those are for you? How dare you?
Oh.
And then just proceeds to get worse and worse. And he meets Trey and Chenya. He makes friends. And they give him a whole tart.
And then his mom finds out.
And then his mom
finds him in the middle of indulging a tart, actually.
Yeah. And he gets yelled at and taken home, and then he's like never allowed to see them again, and he has to focus on only doing homework and studying and eating food with no taste. So yeah, very sad backstory, and I hate his mother. Kill her.
Yeah, fair.
Not literally, but she's a fictional character, so literally. In game. So yeah. We get him out of the overblot. We're, making sure he's okay. And then he proceeds to, like, burst out sobbing because he's like, I'm sick of these rules too, kind of. He's like, I really wanted to eat that tart, and I prefer, like, honey with my tea instead of 2 sugar cubes or whatever, and just, like, having a full-on meltdown, which is fair. He's like, what?
16?
15?
Yeah, he's a sophomore, so he would be 16.
I don't remember what ages they start. He's a child. I say this as a 20-year-old. He is a child. This is a fair reaction. And Trey's trying to comfort him. And this is one of the things I don't like, because apparently they changed this between Japanese and English. I could be wrong, but a post I saw did. So in English, Cater's seeing this, and he's just like, Riddle's sobbing. Hashtag wow, or something like that. Like, he has his he essentially, like, disses Riddle for showing emotion and having a very valid breakdown. But apparently he doesn't do that in the Japanese version. So
He doesn't mean it sarcastically in the English version.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like a, wow, this person that I have never seen show emotion is
Showing emotion.
not doing that. Yeah, like it's just surprising, not necessarily a diss.
I don't know. I feel like that's something that it's gonna have to, like, wait till we have the anime, because that's a very tonal thing, because I automatically read that as sarcastic. So I guess we'll just have to wait for the anime to find out how he's actually saying it. But I've seen posts saying it's like him like making fun of Riddle immediately after the overblot, where he doesn't do that in Japanese or something like that.
I don't think that's
I don't know.
what it is.
I'm American. I don't know. I'm American. I don't know anything about the Japanese version besides what I see on Tumblr.
I mean,
So,
me neither, but I don't.
Good chance
I
I'm
don't
wrong.
want to think Cater would be like that. So
well, he'd only be like that in one version. I don't know. I just heard they made the most changes to Cater's character in Japanese, because there was also the thing where it's like in Japanese he like specifically states that he thinks like, you know, Vil is attractive and that he wants to date him and like stuff like that, and then they completely cut it out of the English version. So
yeah,
like,
but that's a Disney.
Cater's that's a Disney thing. Canon, Cater is bisexual umbrella term, because we don't know. But not in America, because Disney. Yeah, I only got like 3 more bullet points, so I'll try and put these through. Then we have the Blot Stone, which Grim eats, because why not? We're trying to tell him not to, because it's literal garbage, and we don't know what it is, and he eats it.
Like, where is
And then later
this? And then he just like completely disregards it.
Yeah. He's like, have you guys seen this thing?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So then it cuts to, you know, like after Riddle gets out of like the infirmary and stuff, you know, making sure he's okay. And he makes an apology tart for us to serve at the unbirthday party, because we're having an unbirthday party, and he's trying to be a bit more relaxed because, you know, he's asking, he's like, is like there jam on the tables? Is there a dormouse sleeping in the teapot? And then he's like, never mind, it doesn't matter. Like, it'll be just the same without it. And Trey makes a comment. He's like, maybe this time we can spread the jam on a biscuit instead of the mouse. Maybe we can try that. And he's like, here's the tart I made. I like tried to follow the recipe, and we all try it, and everyone's just like,
gross,
very salty. And he's like, what? I tried to follow the recipe exactly, but I mean, Trey never told me how much oyster sauce I need to put in it, so I had to guesstimate. And Trey bursts out laughing. He's just like, oh my gosh, you actually fell for that. And everyone has a good laugh about it. But I mean,
okay. There's something you didn't talk about that I vividly remember happening. Is you, Ace, and Deuce talking about how, as Riddle's friends, that Chenya and Trey should have taught him better. Like, should have shown.
So, that's what happened right before the duel. I had, like, very briefly, like, gone over it, but that was when they were in the library before Crowley showed up and was like, oh, you can just duel him to be headmaster. Because Trey's trying to explain, he's like...
Words.
Yeah, because he's trying to explain, he's like, this is why, like, you can't fault him, like, this is how he grew up. He doesn't really know, like, any other way. And they're just like, oh. And Ace is just like, oh, so this is your fault. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. You didn't fix this. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they had that.
I just remember you saying that.
Yeah. It was like a sentence, because I'm trying to rush. But no, I think it is completely fair that Riddle put oyster sauce in the tart, because if he's just hearing Trey say that it's his special ingredient, and we already had Deuce and Ace logic out why it would be in a tart, that's completely fair. I probably would have done the same thing, except I'd just be like, let's just put like a drop. Just enough to say it's in there. And then they have the thing, because they're like because then Chenya shows up again. And they're like, oh, hey, he's back or something. And someone makes a comment that he doesn't go here. Like, I think Trey goes, he's like, you need to stop showing up. You can't keep showing up at the dorm. And Chenya's like, why not? It's like, because you don't go here. And we're like, what do you mean he doesn't go here? We're like, he goes to the other school. He goes to Royal Sword Academy. And we're just like, there's another school? Because we know nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of book 1. They have the little, like, episode at the end where then it's just Leona and Reggie in their room laughing about how Malice isn't going to win the spell drive tournament.
Which is so dumb for that.
I don't know. I don't...
Like, they know he teleports. Like, bro... How are you gonna stampede a teleporting person?
I don't know. But yeah. That's book 1. Badly explained with lots of interactions. At about an hour and 15 minutes. So that's pretty good.
So that was book 1.
Considering it took us an hour to get through the first third of the list. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed.
If you like Rant book 1, we will continue doing the other books, whether you like it or not. So
I was gonna say we probably will otherwise, because
we need
content. Yeah. And this is the easiest way to do it besides events. So enjoy it, because you'll get it either way. Smiley face.
The little woo face.
Okay.
You know? Anyway. Who suffer. Okay, I do have to get going. Okay. So this is the end of the episode.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.